The squad must have been a good place after last weekend.
Yeah, they are. They have been for the last 8 weeks, where I think we've performed really well, played really well. The icing on the cake is obviously getting the results, and emphatic results, which it was on Saturday.
When it comes to this time of the season, when you get a big result like that, is it about trying to build on it, or do you need to kind of just park it and make sure that the hard work continues and you don't just rest on your laurels after something like that?
What we've done is focus on each game, and it's quite simple, really. Don't look what's above you, don't look what's below you. Win the game, and that's what we try to focus on. We try to relieve a little bit of pressure on the players. They're young men, they feel pressure, but what we've tried to do is make it a little bit more lighthearted around the training ground in the last few weeks, and let them express themselves without the added pressure. Told them not to read anything. Whether they do that or not, I don't know. Everybody seems to read social media nowadays, but it's important that they're focused on just beating Dundee. After that, things will take care of themselves.
Have you got to pressure points in the season before, previously in your management career, where you do sense maybe a change around the training ground, and is that different with this squad of players?
I think with all the squads that I've had, they're so eager to please you and the staff that sometimes it becomes real nervous energy and they don't play relaxed, and it's important that you go into the game focused, relaxed. It's a game of football that you have to go and enjoy as well as win the game. So over time I've learnt that sometimes the big motivational speeches and all them kind of things sometimes make it a little bit more nerve-wracking for players, and it's important you manage that and sense the dressing room, which we believe we've got a good handle on.
I know Tony felt bitterly disappointed the way Dundee's game went last weekend, expecting them to come out all guns blazing.
I think they will, yeah. No doubt they score a lot of goals. They've got real threats in the forward areas. Simon Murray's has been an unbelievable signing for them. So they've scored a lot of goals. We have to be aware of their start, the fast starts that they make. But they also concede a lot of goals, so it's probably be a 0-0 after saying that. No, but we're aware of their threats. I expect them not to be too downhearted by the result. Obviously, last minute goals are hard to take, but Dundee are a side that are a big threat.
I know you won't want to speak about it until it's actually confirmed, but to even be in the running for top 6 for the 3rd season in a row, how much of an achievement is that?
I personally don't think the players have had enough credit for it. It's now expected that St Mirren should be in the running for a top 6 place, and I read articles saying that we should be. I'm not sure what that's based on, bar the quality of the players, the quality of the recruitment. So it's credit to them if they were, with 2 games to go. I've said it all along. I think it was 8 games to go. We were in the running with maybe a point off the top 6. And with a real chance again for 3 years in a row is an incredible achievement. No matter what happens in the end, it's been a trying season, but it just shows the character of these players that they're still in this position.
Do the players firmly believe that they are a top 6 group, and do they have that belief internally? Do you think that they just belong there?
I think they do, yeah, I believe they do. Within our dressing room, we believe that we're a very good side. Sometimes things go for you, sometimes things are out of your control, which a lot of it has been this season. And as I say, the resilience they've shown, the quality they've shown is testament to the group.
I know it's boardroom chat, but what about this construction discussions that have been kind of in the news this week? What do you make of it, just personally?
I think, I've been quite clear on it. The league needs to be bigger. It has to be bigger to allow development. It's different for fans. You're not playing the same teams 3 times a season, so it's I think it's important for all aspects. I'm not Scottish, but developing young Scottish players is at the forefront of a lot of people's minds. That's easier to do when every game you're not looking over your shoulder that you might get relegated, which is a catastrophe for the football club, and a lot of teams will feel exactly like that. So actually pushing boys in, we've managed to give Callum Penman his debut, Luke Kenny his debut, I think from Peter Aminski as well, and Evan Mooney. So we've managed to give debuts. Getting runs in teams is difficult, and more Scottish teams would do that, which ultimately will help the Scottish national team in the long run.
Trying to avoid relegation, Stephen, does that underpin a lot of the clubs in Scotland's kind of thoughts at the start of each season?
Well, if you're, it's only a 10-team league, so if you go on a run of losing 3 games, you're very much in a relegation battle, and if you go on a really good run of 3 games, then you're almost a top 6 side. So it's so precarious all the time that it does, as a manager, you think twice about it. You go with experience, you go with what you know, and I think that would open the door to giving people more opportunities. Obviously, listen, everyone wants young players to play. They have to be good enough, first and foremost. You see fans say they've got to play young players. Well, the young players aren't good enough, they don't play. It's as simple as that. And where we put a lot of structures in place at this football club where there's standards set before they actually come and train with us, and that needs to keep getting better and improving. And then you start producing players like we've done this season, and hopefully we can start filling the squad with those players. It allows you to spend more money in other areas of the pitch, and as I say, for Scottish football, it helps develop them. We're starting to see some very good young players come through. Lennon Miller at Motherwell, kid at Hearts as well, I forgot his name, James Wilson at the top end of the pitch, and Evan Mooney, who's a real high hopes for us, Callum Penman. So there is a lot of good young Scottish players. A bigger league, for me personally, would allow people to give more opportunities.
Is there any point in this season when you thought a race for a top 6 would maybe just be out with your reach?
Again, with the league being so tight, nothing's ever out of reach. If sides went on incredible runs at the start of the season, then really poor runs in the middle of the season. It's just what time you hit your good run at, and I feel we're in a good period of form. I believe we're playing very well with a lot of confidence, and if a little bit of luck goes our way, then who knows? But no, we never lost faith. Times are difficult when you're not winning games, but in terms of the group of players, they never lost faith, and certainly I never lost faith in them.
Stephen, looking back to Saturday, I think that's the first time in your managerial career you've scored 5 goals in a league game. How kind of positive is that for you that you're still hitting those positive milestones this far in your career? Yeah,
I think there's been a lot of milestones this year, hasn't there? There's we beat Rangers twice. Europe for the first time in goodness knows how many seasons. I think it was 37 seasons, am I right, in St James before we played in Europe. So all that seems so long ago. It seems almost forgotten in terms of the season, and we won't let that be forgotten because, as I say, we're still aiming to grow. We're still aiming to grow the football club from the foundations up, and that it has to be our goal to make it, the longevity of the football club and the financial safety of the football club is paramount. So we can only grow at a certain rate. I'd love to wave a magic wand and get a billionaire investor and we can do all this tomorrow, but unfortunately that's not the case. So you have to keep making small steps and making the football club every day you come in to be better equipped to stay in it as a top 6 on a Premiership side.
And you were missing Toyosi and Mikel's on the bench who didn't feature on Saturday. You must have asked players to really step up. How pleasing is that they did that, and all across the pitch as well?
Yeah, they did. I thought Jonah and Roland were terrific. Anything good that happened during the game came through the both of them. So very good performances throughout. Obviously Toy coming back gives us a real option. Mika had only trained one day, so we had the opportunity not to put him on with the scoreline. Conor McMenamin started training again. He's had this will be his second full day's training. So this game probably comes a little bit too soon for him, but he's a player that can play a real part in the last running. Real creativity. To have the choice we have with Toy and Nika, Jonah, Roland, and other players I haven't mentioned as well, then it puts us in a good position going into the final stages.
Just when you touched on the fact that not many people are speaking about the achievement here, is that one of the biggest compliments, do you think, that this is almost becoming? I think that, players say to me, we never get the credit we deserve. And I say, yeah, but that's because it's expected of, and it's not expected based on finances. It's not expected based on, 20,000 crowds or a millionaire investor. It's based on the talent of the players. And I said that's the biggest compliment you can have, when people expect you to be a top 6 side, and when you get beat by teams in and around you, but you were expected to beat them. Then the stature of the football club has obviously grown, and the playing staff deserve that credit and respect. And if we can finish this season off, would be a fantastic achievement. And I guess securing top 6 would just be huge for you and the coaching staff in terms of planning for next season, knowing what maybe you can work with budget wise as well plays a big part, isn't it? Yeah, well, I'm lucky. I know what my budget is. Whether we get top 6 or not, you're talking 1 player, 2 players difference. We can't go there's another £1 million in your budget. It would be great. I've asked for that, but they won't give me that. But you get 1 player or 2 players, so it's quite consistent. We know where we're working. My chief scout Martin Foyle, who's been with me a long time, he's our only scout in the whole world, and he produces miracles every year. Of course, sometimes you make mistakes. People spend millions of pounds and make mistakes, so we certainly will. But the vast majority, we've got a lot of it right, and a lot of it's down to him and the coaching staff around.
How's the rest of your squad?
Well, Toy obviously back available again, and flying and training. Mika, another full week's training, which is fantastic for us. Connor, as I say, he's trained, this will be a second full training session, so he's been out a long time, but again, he'll be a big boost for us in the coming weeks. He'll come and do the warm-up and all with us on Saturday to be part of it all again, which is great. Evan Mooney's making great progress. He could maybe be back before the end of the season, which is again testament to the medical staff and Evan's work ethic. I don't think I've missed anybody else. So Alex has had an epidural in his back, which we believe that his problems are coming from. So hopefully that'll get to the bottom of that, and then we have another option next week because he won't be too far away.
Just when you're speaking about the squad there, how important is the blend that you've got of experience, of youth, and of creativity in your team? Yeah,
I think we've got a really good balance. Our older players, I'll forget to mention someone here about Goga, Marcus, Mika. The stature of those players, they drive the dressing room. They are the ones. I don't have to get involved in it. All I do is find them for phones, but they literally drive the standards in it, and that's brilliant for the young players. And then at the other end of the spectrum, you've got young Evan Mooney, who I've never seen a player so dedicated to get as fit and strong as quickly as possible. And he's a real example. I've pulled a couple of the young players and said, you latch onto him. That's what a professional footballer looks like. So it's important you have those people to lead. I believe the balance of the squad's good. We tried to get 2 wingers in at Christmas, which we weren't able to do, unfortunately, and I think that's something in the summer that I will focus on, as well as getting Connor back to full fitness and it be like a brand new player for us.